Hey, it's me, so welcome to the video, my friends, my Nakama. Hope you're having a fantastic day. There was a leak. An EX structure deck has been leaked containing Cyber Dragon support. Now, this looks very interesting to me because Cyber Dragons might finally have a chance to be a deck rather than just an amalgamation of random nonsense held together by that monstrosity of a skill. If you can't tell, I was not a fan of the old Cyber Dragon playstyle, but this looks promising, right? This looks like there's some potential there for an actually fun deck to play, but also to play against, right? It's less shotgunny and more just interactive, or at least I think it might have the potential to be based on how the support actually functions in game. With that being said, I've got a couple of ideas in terms of deck building for a free to play and also a pay to play deck list. So stick around along for the video, the ride that we're about to go on. Like the video if you enjoy just being here, I guess, and also subscribe if you'd like to be here more often. Now, bear in mind, everything that I'm doing in this video is speculative. All of the ideas that I have are speculative, but I think I might have something kind of nice. Now, the new skill Cyber Style Evolution says, at the beginning of the duel, add a Cyber Emergency and a Power Bond to the bottom of your deck. Power Bond is a really good fusion card, and Cyber Emergency is just a search card. And while they're added to the bottom of your deck, if you shuffle your deck at any point in time, so you search out a card, well, they're gonna move, so you can actually realistically draw them. In addition, the following effects can be activated twice per turn and thrice per duel. Select one Cyber Dragon on your side of the field and change its level to 5. It's like a Territory of the Sharks, but it only works on one monster at a time. The takeaway though is I can do it twice in the same turn. So I can get 2 level 4, just 2 random level monsters, make them both level 5, and that will help me to summon Cyber Dragon Nova, the new support, the XYZ card that's going to be in the EX structure deck. This skill will only activate if you begin the duel with the deck that has 12 or more Dragon type or Machine type Cyber monsters. Your extra deck does not count. Let's get to deck building. Before we carry on, this video was heavily inspired by my homie iGalaxy. He's on his grind, he's on the way up. Help him out, drop a sub. He makes awesome Duel Links content as well. And what you're looking at is a Cyber Dragon deck list. My idea was different to his. He came up with one on stream. This is what I think a Cyber Dragon deck list could look like once the support actually releases. Let me explain why things are the way that they are and how I expect it to work. Now, bear in mind, Duel Links meta doesn't have the updated skill yet, so I've just put Cyber Style there as a placeholder. The skill will actually be the new one when it comes out. So to start with, I included 3 copies of Cyber Dragon, the level 5 monster. It says that if your opponent controls a monster and you have none, you can special summon this card from your hand. It's just a free level 5 on the field, so starting slow, starting easy. Now, in a situation where you're later into the game and you draw this card, it being in your hand, well, you might end up stuck, but we have means of fusion summoning from the hand in the deck, so I'm not too worried about that being the case. I added 2 copies of Cyber Dragon Veer because, well, this card's name becomes Cyber Dragon when it's on the field or in the graveyard. If you normal or special summon a Cyber Dragon card, well, you can special summon this card onto the field in defense position. So, assume you special summon this is in your hand, you can special summon Veer onto the field as well. Now, remember what the skill says, we can just target a monster that we control, a Cyber Dragon monster, make it level 5. So we can make Cyber Dragon Veer level 5, boom, we have a rank 5 XYZ, we can go into Cyber Dragon Nova. We make this card turn 1, that's just a solid way of getting into it. What I like about Veer is that it works with basically everything in the deck. If I normal or special summon something that has the name Cyber Dragon, I special summon Veer, I activate the skill, and I can turn that into a rank 5 XYZ summon. I'm only running 2 because it is dependent on other cards being on, the field or being able to be summoned. So if you open 3 copies of Veer, I'm not sure if it works alongside itself. It might, in which case the deck list might change a little bit. But again, this is just a conceptual deck list based on the information that we have so far. There might be other cards in the structure deck. There might be cards that we didn't expect, or maybe we're not going to get cards that we thought we were. We don't know. That's why this is speculative, but bear with me. 3 copies of Cyber Dragon Core. It's our searcher. When this card is normal summon, add 1 Cyber Spell or Trap from your deck to your hand. Now, why that's amazing is because you can get yourself a copy of Cyberload Fusion, you get yourself your Cybernetic Overflow, but you can also get the Cyber Emergency that the skill put into your deck for you. So there's another search target for this card in the deck, which is why I'm putting it at 3 3 copies. Now, in the old version of Cyber Dragons, that was basically all you needed core for, but it has a secondary effect. You can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon 1 Cyber Dragon monster from your deck. Now, that's only when you have no monsters and your opponent does control a monster, but still, assuming you get board wiped and this is in your graveyard, well, as long as you have a card in your hand that you can normal summon, you can set yourself right back up for another rank 5 XZ summon, special summon out your Cyber Dragon because this does not specify a level, and then normal summon whatever's in your hand, activate the skill once, which would probably be your 3rd charge of it, and boom, you make another rank 5 XZs. Now, up next is one of the newer cards, Cyber Dragon Nashter. This card's name becomes Cyber Dragon while on the field or in the graveyard, so again, it works with Veer. Now, you can discard 1 other monster, special summon this card from your hand. That's really good, a free special summon. And why I say it's free is because if this card is normal or special summoned, you can target 1 machine monster with 2100 attack or defense in your graveyard, special summon it. So assuming that you discard a Cyber Dragon from your hand to the graveyard to summon this card, you can special summon that Cyber Dragon right back. It wasn't a cost, it was a benefit. Just like that, you activate the skill, you make your rank 5 XZs, and bearing in mind, if you discarded this card, you didn't need to use your normal summon. The only thing is, it locks you into summoning machine type monsters for the rest of the turn, and well, I'm pretty sure the only relevant, if not the only machine monster that we have is the brand new one that we're getting. So that is just a little bit of a hindrance, but like, it's really not that bad. It's just extra consistency. Last up, we have Cyber Pharos. You can special summon this card from your hand by tributing 1 monster you control. Once per turn during your main phase, fusion summon 1 machine fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters in your hand or your field as material. So this card basically does 2 things for you. It allows you to meet the 12 monster requirement to activate the skill, right? Because you need 12 cyber monsters to be able to activate the skill. So it's a monster, but it's also acting as one of your fusion spells. If you have a monster on the field, tribute over it with this, then you have a monster left over in your hand, boom, you can make yourself a fusion summon, relatively easy, relatively straightforward, or just in other various situations, it allows you to fusion summon more fluidly, so this deck can XZ summon quite well and fusion summon quite well using this card. When a fusion monster you control is destroyed by battle specifically, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add a power bond from your deck to your hand. You can only use the effect once per turn. Now, this helps you to search out the power bond that was added to your deck. The problem being, well, it's only going to be added to your hand upon destruction by battle, which is very, very specific. So not A1, but again, for the fusion summon alone, it's good in my opinion. So that is the monster core of the deck. I'm going to stay at 12, not going to go over it. Now, this is just, again, a conceptual idea. Take it with a grain of salt. You might change things around, the ratios might be different, you might find other text to use, but let me keep on going. I'm running 2 copies of MST for backer removal. The old Cyber Dragons used Cosmic Cyclone a lot because they wanted to reduce their life points, but bearing in mind, we're using Power Bond in this deck. Power Bond lets you fusion summon a monster onto the field, and then it gained its original attack as additional attack points, but at the end of the turn, you take the full attack of your monster as life point damage. Maybe they cut that in half, but like, I don't know about that because like the DD cards are over there in the corner looking at us. I don't think that they're going to reduce the damage that you as the player take, right? They're only really nerfing effect damage that you do to your opponent. So you could find yourself in a pickle if you reduce your life points too much with this deck. That's actually why I'm not running Cybernetic Fusion support, because if I just happen to draw into Power Bond and I've already activated that card, that might spell death for me. And it just kind of limits my play. So I'm trying to be a bit more careful with my life points. Book of Moon is Book of Moon. I don't really need to explain it. It's just extra disruption for the deck. You could just put in more text that are specific to the deck in place of Book of Moon if you don't have it. I just feel like it might be useful because, I mean, it's Book of Moon. Then Overload Fusion. I think that this is going to have some synergy here, and let me explain why. Fusion summon 1 Dark Machine Fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing the fusion materials listed on it from your field or graveyard. So imagine a situation where you have special summon to Cyber Dragon, and then you tribute Cyber Pharos on top of that Cyber Dragon to get it on the field. Well, you can now banish those 2 cards from your field and graveyard respectively to make yourself a fusion monster. And then, all of a sudden, Cyberload Fusion is live. Cyberload cannot fuse with the cards in your graveyard. It has to use the cards on the field or in the face-up banish section, which you just put 2 cards right over there, so you can get another fusion monster onto the field. I feel like it synergizes pretty well with the deck. And because, like, since we're XZ summoning, when the XYZ materials are detached from our monsters, or they're going to the graveyard where Cyberload Fusion won't be able to get to them. But cards like Cybernetic Overflow and Overload Fusion will be able to use those cards in the graveyard to banish them and then allow us to put them right back into our deck using Cyberload Fusion. I think that this deck is going to have a relatively easy time establishing board presence, and so I'm not too worried about using a card like this because like you can't use the cards in your hand for the fusion summon, but I feel like you are going to be able to consistently get at least 2 cards on the field, and that gives you options. Do I decide to fusion summon? Do I XZ summon? Do I use my skill? Do I save it? It's just a lot more options for the deck, and it starts to feel a lot more like an actual deck. Now, the extra deck space is pretty tight. I've got a copy of Cyber End Dragon, just one. It's a 4,000 attack monster. If you use Power Bond to make it, it's at 8,000 attack, but you take 4,000 damage at the end of the turn. So, I mean, make sure you win effectively. Cyber Twin Dragon, again, you can use Power Bond, make it just, I'm not about to do that math because I'm lazy, but big, right? Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon, obviously we're going to be making this using Cyberload Fusion and just the other cards involved in this process. Now, the rank 5 XZ's engine, as it were. I don't necessarily want to call it an engine, but I've decided to go with Volcasaurus. Reason being, it says, once per turn you can detach 1 XYZ material from this card, target a face-up monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and then inflict damage to your opponent's life points equal to half that destroyed monster's attack. So this is spot removal, right? Because this deck isn't really doing spot removal. We can use Chimera Tech to destroy our opponent's back row. We can use, Cyber Dragon Nova to boost up our attack to very high levels. And then we have Cybernetic Overflow as our only real spot removal. We've got Book of Moon, all that kind of stuff. But, in terms of spot removal, I just wanted an extra option. So we could make this and then rank up on top of it with Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Charger, for piercing damage. Charger can also rank up on top of Cyber Dragon Nova, which is why I feel like it's a good fit. Because there's a good chance we get locked into machine type monsters, I've added 2 copies of Cyber Dragon Nova. And I mean, if it gets destroyed, worst comes to worst, it can be used as a fusion material for one of these other cards. So that's the game plan. I want to kind of just show you some opening hands. Duel Links meta is really good because you can see and kind of predict what things will look like. So let's try it out. Okay, so I've popped the deck into the Duel Links meta deck tester, and I kind of just want to see what the opening hands and the ratios will be like. So this is the hand that we've opened here. Now, in this situation, I could normal summon Cyber Dragon Core, then special summon Veer. Veer would be in defense position. Awesome. Now, Core has given me the ability to search my deck. I would search out something like a Cyberload Fusion, add that to my hand. That's absolutely beautiful. Now, I have options here. I could choose 2. Cyberload Fusion, send this to the graveyard, send these 2 cards to the graveyard, and make myself my Rampage Dragon. That could destroy my opponent's back row, or I could just MST before doing all of that to get rid of their back row. And that's my play, that's my turn. Or I could do it a different way if I want to. In that exact same situation, I can get these cards back. Now, assuming all things being the same on the exact same turn, I normal summon this, special summon this. I choose to activate the skill twice. I make these both level 5. Just imagine I put 5 counters on each of them. I've used my skill twice. Use both charges, boom, I've got myself a Cyber Dragon Nova. Now, it says once per turn you can detach 1 material from this card, then target a Cyber Dragon in your graveyard and special summon that target. I'm not sure if I can detach a material and then summon that material back on. That would be ideal. Don't know that that will be possible, but that doesn't really matter because its second effect is very important. You can banish 1 Cyber Dragon from your hand or face up from your monster zone. This card gains 2,100 attack, really, really good. If this card in your possession is sent to the graveyard by your opponent's card effect, you can special summon 1 machine fusion monster from your extra deck, so you'll just bring back something really just big and beefy if they wind up destroying you. So there's some protection inherent there. Now, bear in mind, I'm just speculating because I'm not a Cyber Dragon master. This card's name is Cyber Dragon Nashter. Its name becomes Cyber Dragon when it's on the field or in the graveyard. I don't know if it will count in the hand for the activation of this effect. It says that you have to banish Cyber Dragon from your hand. This is Cyber Dragon Nashter. It might not qualify, but in the event that it does, you would be able to banish this and then set this. Now, the actual banish, the actual attack boost is good, but it doesn't really matter because during my opponent's turn, if I'm in a situation where I can banish this or assume, let's just say that that's not possible and I opened this instead of this, right? This is in my graveyard. I can, on my opponent's turn, when they try and target me, activate Cyberload Fusion as a quick play to try and move things around. Like they target me for an effect, I send this back into my extra deck, send this back into my deck, and then just like that, I can fuse into a different monster, destroy my opponent's back row, and I was able to dodge an effect on their turn, which I feel like could be good. So let's reset, let's see what opening hand we get. So, we found ourselves in this position, Cyber Dragon Nashter. We can special summon this by discarding this to the graveyard, then we summon this back onto the field. Now, mind you, because we opened 2, we actually could have special summoned this first and then discarded 1, summoned it back. We don't even need to use the skill here. We could choose to rank 5 XZ summon if we want to by taking the 2 Cyber Dragons, or we could put ourselves in a position where we use the skill, keep 1 Cyber Dragon, convert this into a level 5 monster, and we XZ summon on top of these 2, right? Awesome, easy peasy, all done. Or we could go a different route again because we open the Cyberload Fusion and we can fusion summon in that situation. We have a lot of options, but what I'm trying to emphasize is I feel like this could be a relatively consistent strategy. I am a fan of the way that it looks because Cyberload Fusion shuffles things back into the deck. I mean, even if you're playing it free to play and you only have 1 copy of the EX structure deck, you might actually be able to recycle your rank 5 monster for more plays in various situations. Let's try this one more time because again, I'm learning. I'm doing this alongside, like, with you guys to try and figure out how it would work and just seeing how consistent the deck could be. So turn 1, I could special summon this, then I could special summon this by discarding this to the graveyard if I wanted to, and then normal summon this, or I could have special summoned this by discarding this to the graveyard and special summon it back onto the field, in which instance I would be able to keep both of my cores and I would normal summon one of them. I search out my deck, get myself either one of these, my Cyberload Fusion or my Cybernetic Overflow. To be honest, in all of the plays that we've seen so far, Fusion has been more useful than Overflow. I feel like Overflow is still a good card to have in the deck though, but we might find ourselves using 2 copies of Fusion because they're both limit 2, who knows. So I can activate the skill twice in 1 turn, make both of these level 5, and go into our friend here, set this face down. At any point in time, I can activate the skill to banish this, and then activate Cyberload Fusion, do a fusion summon, and we're just protected. We can boost up our attack. We can do a lot of different things, which I'm really liking. It honestly feels like a deck. It doesn't feel like just a skill. It feels like an actual deck. Now, this is our first brick, as it were. We set Book of Moon face down, normal summon core, search out. Actually, hold on, we can search out Cyber Emergency, the card that gets added to our deck using the skill. Cyber Emergency says add 1 light machine monster that can be normal summoned or set, or a Cyber Dragon monster from your deck to your hand. Now, what that effectively means is we can search out a copy of Cyber Pharos, add it to our hand. Let's just imagine, because the skill isn't actually in the game, which means that I can't actually show you the card activating and everything. So just imagine that I searched out that card, activated it. Now, I've got Cyber Pharos in my hand. I special summon it by tributing over this card on the field. Pharos is on the field, this is in the graveyard. Overload Fusion, banish both of these cards, and just like that, we have a fusion summon turn 1. So even that situation where it seemed like we bricked, we actually found a way to still make a play in that scenario. Now, this isn't, I admit, going first the greatest thing in the world. We've got a Book of Moon, which is nice, but our opponent wouldn't have had any back row for us to destroy. We can activate this card's effect and send cards to the graveyard. We can send ourselves, I don't know, 1 of these to the graveyard. We can send ourselves 1 of these to the graveyard, and potentially Cyberload Fusion again on the next turn, assuming that we survive. But like, yeah, so far it's looking like a relatively consistent strategy. Now, I don't want to make this video too long. I don't want to take up too much of your time, so I'm going to break the video up. I'm going to put the free-to-play section that I've already recorded in a different video that you can check out if you want my thoughts on that. That way it's a bit more succinct and focused. I got kind of carried away trying out the various deck lists and like scenarios and everything with the deck test. It was very fun. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please do like it if you did, and subscribe if you want to see more content from me. Have a wonderful day and take care.